How much exercise is too much, and is 2 hours a day of exercise doable? It's a question. Hi there, my name is Rebecca. I am a physician. I have lost 64 pounds on a whole foods plant-based diet, almost 65 at this point. I started at 291.4. I am at 227 this morning, 0.0. It's a question that, or a comment that has gotten made on my videos that people can't do 2 hours of exercise a day. And so I'm gonna kind of answer it from the medical perspective and then the personal perspective. Then we're gonna talk about time. Let's go. From a medical perspective, yes, you can do 2 hours of exercise a day. Think about professional athletes. Think about college athletes. We're right in the middle of UNC Tar Heels basketball season. Those guys are working out 2 hours a day. I can guarantee it. As long as you are fueling yourself with the calories that you need and you are fueling yourself with the fluids that you need and the electrolytes, then yes, you can do 2 hours of exercise a day. That's the medical perspective. Now, caveat on that is what we learned from the Biggest Loser documentary on Netflix this fall or summer, but they were doing 12 hours a day. And that was a surprise to me. I honestly thought it was only 6 to 8, but it was 12. And you saw from them having medical emergencies on, exercising when they were exercising outside or even in the gym and having to have the paramedics called, that they were not doing it in a healthy manner. So that is the medical perspective. From a personal perspective, I knew what I was getting into when I started working with Carly because I had, number one, I'd watched the movies, UnSupersize Me, where he takes Tracy from 350 pounds down to, I want to say about 150 in the space of a year. I also had seen UnSupersize Us, which is a 6-week project taking 6 individuals and really looking at the weight loss and health benefits in even 6 weeks on exercise and a whole foods plant-based diet. And then finally, I had seen UnSupersize Me in Cuba, where he had taken Ridiel from really looking at eating better in a non-ideal country where it was harder to get what you needed. So I'd watched those, I understood. 2, I had actually taken his course in the past as well. So I knew that there was going to be exercise. And I'd worked with him for a little while before as well, before starting with him again at the end of September. But I also knew that we were going to be starting where I was at the time. And in this instance, in September, end of September, we were going to start where I was. And we were going to work up from there. But I knew the goal was 60 minutes, both cardio and weights. We started at the end of September with 30 minutes of cardio. Usually it was me on a treadmill. I didn't even get on the bike probably for a month. And we started at 10 minutes of weights. And I would meet with Carly on a weekly basis and we would up things by looking at how I was feeling with the process. Now, there was a week we did not actually take it up. And when I say take it up, I mean by 5 minutes. So I think it was when I went from 45 to 50 minutes. And it was really a bit of a struggle for me. I mean, I did it, but I was feeling kind of sluggish with it. I was feeling a little bit more tired than I had with previous increases. And so we held it there. And I can't remember if we actually did that with the weights or not. That might have just been going up like 5 minutes every week at a time. And yes, cardio got to 60 before weights got to 60. This is kind of what it comes down to, is that you really have to do some work to get out of your comfort zone to lose lots of weight. Because losing lots of weight, 120 pounds is a lot of weight. It's a transformation. And you can't do that living in your comfort zone. I also say, I'm not running a marathon. I'm not sprinting. I'm not running at all, by the way. The most I can do is a good power walk. And honestly, my power walk at max is 2.6 miles an hour right now. I'm also not jumping. I don't jump. I don't run. I don't even stand up on the bike at this point. I don't know if I will. And that's okay because I'm meeting myself where I am right now. And I know that if I run, if I jump, I haven't really tried the standing up on the bike, so I'm not going to say that, is that I'm going to cause injury where I'm not able to do as much later on. And that's not something I'm going to do. I am doing some challenging work there. I'm doing hills. I'm very pleased with the fact that I've been able to dial in incline on the treadmill. For me, that was an accomplishment. My goal on the bike is to deal in speed or to lock in speed. I haven't been able to do that yet, but that is going to be a goal for me. But I'm taking it as I can. It's the minutes I'm putting in. I also find it's pretty good for stress, just saying. And the endorphin rush, kind of good. I'm not lifting weights for 60 solid minutes. When I do 60 minutes of weights, I am doing 60 minutes of classes of weights, also on Peloton. I know I sound like an advertisement from Peloton, but honestly, it has been so simple for me. And that's kind of, you got to do what's easy for you. For the weights, there's typically anywhere from, depending on the length of the class, anywhere from 1 to 8 minutes of warm-up time. If it's a 45-minute class, I've seen 8 minutes of warm-up time. And then you're doing sets and you're recovering between sets. They'll do 40 seconds on and 20-second recovery, 40 seconds on and 20-second recovery. It's not 60 straight minutes. You actually have recovery and warm-up time in the middle of the classes. But I'm still doing 60 minutes. I'm not lifting weights that are impossible to lift. I started out, honestly, with 2 pounds for light weights and arms. I think they call it arms and light weights or something like that, where no, you don't put them down for 10 minutes, but they're only 2-pound dumbbells. And yes, your arms hurt after that. And then I moved into beginner classes with 3-pound weights. And then I moved up to 5-pound weights when I could. And now I'm kind of into the 8-pound weights. And actually I'm doing okay with the 8-pound weights. This is upper body, except for my overhead press. That one, shoulders, smaller muscles, it makes sense. A little bit slower with that one. But I'm actually still taking a lot of beginner classes. In fact, one thing I've kind of noticed is that the beginner classes focus more on form, whereas you gain some speed and almost a little cardio with the intermediate classes. And sometimes those intermediate classes, I've got the mindset to do it. A lot of times it's actually going to be beginner classes, maybe heavier weights. By heavy, I mean 5 or 8. With lower body, I have moved into 8 minimum for like deadlifts, where I'm holding both of them. And then for like a goblet squat, I'm kind of looking at 10 pounds. I did try kettlebells. I could not do my back did not want kettlebells. And so I kind of say, no kettlebells for me right now. So other thing I want to say is, probably should have numbered these. When you start eating better and you start moving more, you actually start feeling better and you want to move more than you did before you started. So even just moving around the house, a lot easier for me. Even my doggy walks, a lot easier for me than I ever was before I even started. So as you start at maybe 20, maybe 10 minutes of cardio, you're going to start feeling better and you're going to want to move. Or maybe you move without even thinking about it to 15 minutes, and then maybe 20 minutes, then maybe 25 and 30. And then let's talk about the time. We waste a lot of time we don't even realize we're wasting. We kind of do. I also kind of look at it from this perspective that this weight loss phase, because there are 2 phases to weight loss. You have your active weight loss phase, and then you have your maintenance phase. I am presently in my active weight loss phase. And so when you have a phase like that, it is a project for me. I have to make time for that project. So what am I willing to do? The exercise. What am I willing to give up? Probably some YouTube time. I'm going to say it. I waste time on YouTube. It's where I can find, or scrolling. I don't usually scroll as much. It's YouTube for me, but for you, it might be scrolling. And I saw a wonderful video actually in the last couple of days from Amy Landino, and it was the time audit. And for 7 days, you actually look at your schedule in 15-minute blocks and you see what you are spending time on and make time for other things, that projects you want to do. You got to make time for transformation. And that is what I'm doing, because the food's not really taking any time for me. Yes, maybe there is 15, 30, 45 minutes of food prep on it on a weekly basis, but it's not hard. It's the exercise on a daily basis that, yeah, I'm making some time to do right now. And I will link Amy's video below. When we get to maintenance phase, I'm not going to be exercising 2 hours a day. I'll tell you straight up. I will probably be doing 30-30. I may not do weights on a daily basis. I have not made that decision yet because I'm not there yet. But I realize it's going to change because I'm not going to be actively losing weight. I'm going to be maintaining the weight loss that I have maintained. So just to explain that, yes, 2 hours of exercise every day is doable and it's not too much. And honestly, it doesn't even bother me anymore. I will actually exercise in 15, 20, 30-minute blocks sometimes because that's the time I have at that time. And I will show you guys a setup. It's a setup I've kind of chosen to do. And honestly, if you look at the cost of a gym versus my buying the 2 pieces of equipment that I have, I'm not going to say it's going to be completely equal, but it's probably not going to be too far off. And one-time cost versus ongoing cost, I had the ability, I chose to do it. I also had the room to do it. And then you guys will be very amused with my weight setup because it's just in my bedroom with some dumbbells. That's all it is, because what I have found with my puppy is almost 2 years old. But what I have found is that going to the exercise room is a little bit more challenging with him for anything other than cardio. And so weights and sometimes yoga, it's going to be downstairs where it's just easier with him. Another thing, and I know I keep adding to this video, but my goal for the exercise is to lose the weight and to lose it easier. My goal is to build the muscles that will burn the calories to lose the weight. I personally don't really have big, audacious exercise goals like running a 5K or running or even walking a 5K or a 10K or a half marathon or a marathon. That's just not me. I would love to do a headstand. I would love to be able to practice yoga because I do believe that movement and stretching and flexibility as we're getting older, remembering that I'm postmenopausal and hypothyroid, that as we get older will help us age much more comfortably. But I don't have other like big audacious or even an Ironman. And I have seen plenty of people in like forks over knives that have done those big, hairy, audacious goals. It's not where I am right now. But, and I think even Tracy in UnSupersize Me had desire to run a marathon, but that's not where I'm at. But I'm putting in the minutes on a daily basis to get the outcome that I want for the transformation that I want and I need. And that is 60 minutes of cardio and 60 minutes of weights at this point. And it's not going up. That's where we end. But I will link the UnSupersize Me stuff below. I will link maybe some articles on people in forks over knives with big, hairy, audacious exercise goals. I will also link Amy's video below, so you can go watch it and see where you're wasting your time. Bye, guys. I am going to be here to 170. So I'm going to have to do the math on that, but it is around 55 pounds left. And I'm going to hit it in 2026. I just will. I know. I just keep telling the universe that's what's going to happen. I'm going to eat the right foods and I'm going to put in the time on cardio and weights, and I'm going to get there. Okay. This is the exercise room, just an extra room on top of the garage that I have outfitted. Do have a stair climber, never use it. Do have it. And then I have a treadmill, which honestly, I had a Nordic track and it was a piece of crap. And so when I had to change it out, I just got the Peloton, and honestly, the Peloton I have never had a problem with. And then just a bike and playpen for the dog, a few extra weights over there. Weight bench because Carly wanted me to get one, and I'll be quite honest with you, I never use it because I do the classes. So that is wasted space, as pretty much as that right now, but they're here. And then a little bit of a yoga stretchy area. The problem that I'm having now is Mr. Mulligan, who is about 2 years old, and we're kind of deciding where he's going to be when I'm exercising, whether or not it's in the playpen or not in the playpen. And so I typically just do my cardio up here. But yep, it's kind of simple. I think it's simple. And honestly, you could walk outside. I have a treadmill for convenience. You could go to a gym. I have a bike for convenience. So this is the setup for the weights. And you guys, it's real life, authentic. No, I don't make my bed because, well, I'm an adult and I get to choose that. So, weights. And then my secondary location for said weights. These are my 8 pounds. Do have kettlebells. Like I said, I don't really use them. And then, yes, my dog has a lot of toys. He's a little spoiled. And then the rest of my weights. 5s, 3s, and 2s. And this is where I typically do it. So not an impressive setup, but it gets the job done. But what it really kind of comes down to too is you don't have to have the special equipment, a few dumbbells and walking outside, and you can actually get it done. So it's that having the how can I make this happen attitude, as opposed to not all these obstructions are going to come up and I'm not going to be able to get it done. For me, it's okay, how can I make this still happen? Hopefully you got some value from it, especially as we were coming around to New Year's and New Year's resolutions. And I'm going to have some nice little videos on that as well. Bye, guys.